Bismillah. Welcome to Pulse America News. I am Kundi, and today I am bringing you a story that has shaken the entire world. A story that millions of people were waiting for, wondering when it would finally happen. And now, a major part of that moment has arrived. Reports are emerging that a United States aircraft carrier worth approximately $20 billion has been struck in the Sea of Oman. The claim is that it was hit using a combination of missiles and drones from a distance of roughly 340 kilometers. The reports further suggest that serious damage has been caused to this vessel. If these reports are accurate, this would represent one of the most significant naval confrontations in recent memory, not because of the scale of the attack alone, but because of what it means. Missiles reportedly reached their target. Multiple drones reportedly made contact. The aircraft carrier, according to these claims, was damaged enough that it had to be moved from its position, and that single detail changes everything. Now here's the part that will keep you watching, because this is where things get truly extraordinary. The United States, as it often does in moments of embarrassment, initially stayed quiet. You have seen this pattern before. When a fuel tanker was reportedly destroyed in Iraq, the American response was not to deny it loudly. They quietly described it as missing. Then they said it crashed. They never admitted what the world could already see. But an aircraft carrier is a completely different situation. You cannot quietly say a $20 billion floating military city just went missing. American media eventually confirmed that a major confrontation took place in the region, and the aircraft carrier reportedly withdrew from the area after the exchange. Now you have to sit with that for a moment. An aircraft carrier surrounded by an entire escort fleet of some of the most advanced warships ever built reportedly had to move away after taking damage. The escort ships, the anti-ship guns, the radar systems, the entire defensive network around that carrier reportedly failed to stop the incoming attack completely. That is not a small tactical development. That is a statement. Now let us talk about what this means for oil prices, because this is where ordinary people around the world are going to feel this in their daily lives. Oil prices were already under pressure, but if a superpower's most powerful naval asset is unable to freely operate in the region, the calculation for energy markets changes completely. Analysts have warned that prices could climb toward $200 per barrel. That is not an exaggeration. That is what happens when the world's most critical shipping corridor becomes a contested and dangerous zone. Prices do not just rise, they explode. And once they start moving in that direction, everyday costs for food, transport, heating, manufacturing, everything connected to energy starts rising with them. Let me explain the bigger strategy at play here, because this is not random. The goal, according to multiple intelligence assessments, appears to be raising the economic cost of continuing military operations in the region so high that sustaining those operations becomes politically and financially impossible. Think about it carefully. If the price of oil doubles, then triples, the cost of running military operations, powering ships, fueling aircraft, moving supplies, all of it becomes astronomical. The public back home starts asking questions, investors start pulling out, stock markets start reacting, and suddenly a military operation that was supposed to be a show of strength becomes a massive economic liability. And here is the detail that intelligence analysts reportedly were most surprised by. The scale and precision of what happened was not anticipated. The assumption, reportedly, was that the response would be limited. That assumption turned out to be wrong. Weapons stockpiles that military planners expected the last years were reportedly used up within days. That kind of intensity changes every calculation on the table. Now, here is something that adds another layer to this entire situation. Emergency oil reserves, reportedly around 400 million barrels, were released into the market to try to stabilize prices. But there is a very simple question attached to that move. How long can you keep releasing emergency reserves before they run out? Emergency reserves are not a permanent solution. They are a temporary bandage. And when the bandage runs out, the wound is still there. Here is the part that truly reveals the deeper reality of this situation. Civilian oil tankers and commercial vessels were publicly encouraged to show courage and continue passing through the contested waters. The message was essentially, do not be afraid, go ahead and sail through. But at the same time, the naval forces that were supposed to be protecting those waters reportedly withdrew their carrier. Think about the contradiction in that picture. Telling civilians to be brave while the military asset responsible for their protection moved away. The world noticed that contradiction. Markets noticed it. Governments noticed it. Here is what makes this even more remarkable from a military technology perspective. The attack reportedly did not require a traditional large fleet. What was used, according to reports, included drone boats, described as ghost boats that appear suddenly on the surface of the water, fire, cause chaos, and disappear before defensive systems can respond effectively. Anti-ship guns reportedly failed to intercept them in time. On top of that, sea mines have reportedly been placed across critical underwater pathways, meaning that even if a naval force wanted to project strength in the area, every meter of water now carries potential risk. And layered on top of all of that, there are aerial drones, long-range drones, precision drones. No single massive military force is needed when you have that combination of tools. The Hellfire missile was famously used in a high-value targeted strike to eliminate a top military commander. That missile is one of the most precise and powerful in the American arsenal. Now imagine deploying that same category of weapon against small, fast-moving drone boats. You are burning through extraordinarily expensive ammunition to chase targets that cost a fraction of the price. That economic mismatch alone, over time, drains any military force. And that drain, that economic exhaustion, appears to be exactly the point of the strategy. 17 vessels reportedly destroyed since the conflict began. 5 of those reportedly destroyed within a single 12-hour window. That is an acceleration. When destruction goes from gradual to sudden and rapid, it signals that a new phase has been entered. Something shifted in those 12 hours. The pace changed, the intensity changed, and with it, the political and economic pressure on every major power involved changed too. Now let us bring this back to the human level, because behind all these numbers and military terms are real consequences for real people. Rising oil prices mean higher food prices. They mean more expensive medicine. They mean families spending more just to heat their homes or fill their cars. None of this is abstract. Every barrel that climbs in price lands somewhere in someone's budget. In grocery stores, in electricity bills, in the cost of running a small business. The battlefield is in the water, but the consequences wash up on shore everywhere. And this is what makes this moment so important to pay attention to. We are not just watching a military conflict. We are watching a shift in economic power, a test of technological capability, and a demonstration that the rules of naval warfare have been rewritten. The image of an unstoppable aircraft carrier, invincible and untouchable, sailing anywhere in the world and guaranteeing the outcome of any confrontation, that image has taken a serious hit. And once that image cracks, everything built on top of it, the deterrence, the political leverage, the economic security guarantees, starts to shake. I am Kundi on Pulse America News. This story is moving fast, and the implications are enormous. Drop your thoughts in the comments right now. What do you think happens next? Where do you see this going? Share this video everywhere, because people need to understand what is actually happening and why it matters to every single one of us. And make sure you subscribe to Pulse America News so you do not miss a single update as this situation continues to develop. Stay informed, stay sharp. We will be right back with more.